Not only have I been budgeting my own personal finances for the last 10 years, I've been a corporate accountant for the last 12. And in this video, I'm going to be combining both of those things and show you how you can build your own perfect budget in just 10 minutes. And what a better way to talk about this than just to show it to you, okay? This is my free budget template. It's actually down in the description of this video. So this is the budget tab, but before we budget, we have to go through a process called the 3-month look back. What this is, if the name isn't very obvious, you go back 3 months and look at your spending habits, okay? And we do this based on our variable expenses. So think things like groceries, gas, utilities, things that we spend every month or maybe every other month, whatever, and that the cost fluctuates every month, right? Because obviously when you go to the store every month, the amount that you spend in groceries will change. And the point of all this is we want to be able to tell how much we're spending in variable expenses every single month, because this is probably the first and easiest way to kind of leverage how to align your spending to your goals. Because things like your fixed expenses, your mortgage, things like that, or rent, you know what that's going to be every single month. Yes, you could change those, but this is right now the first and fastest and easiest way to do it. So I'm recording this video in January. So what I want to do is look at October, November, and December spending. Here's how you would do it. Okay, so you go through all your bank transactions, credit card transactions, however you spend your money, and then you categorize them into different variable expense categories. And we do that for 3 months in a row. And now the whole point of this is each expense category, we now have an average of where we've been spending our money. So it gives us historical data, which is why this is so great, because every time you spend money, as long as if you're using a card, everything's timestamped for you and you can always go back and take a look, which is great. Seeing this average for everyone and just seeing the totals for each month, it should be eye-opening as to, okay, here are my goals. Here are the things that I said were most important to me, but I'm spending money here, 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 and that was very surprising how much, was in this category, for example. And if you're someone trying to improve your finances this year, I actually created a free course and community for people trying to build up their financial foundations by unlearning the money habits that they already have so that they can pay off debt more efficiently. It's called Dollar Discipline University, and everything inside this video is basically a taste of what you would get inside this free community. And until my calendar fills up, I'm actually offering free strategy calls for any new member that joins and help you sort of get on the right track towards your financial goals, your financial foundation, and eventually be there with you when you become debt free. So that's school.com/debt. The link is in the description. I'll see you in there. We then want to say, okay, is me spending this amount of money in this category aligning to the larger financial goals and life goals that I have for myself? What we want to do then is align the spending with the goals and create a new budget amount, which is this column here. And these are what we're going to be entering in based on our previous data. We're going to use this as our best guess to move forward with a new budget amount for these variable expenses, okay? And now anyone can just say like, oh, I think I'm just going to spend X dollars in, groceries, for example. But the most important thing that you could do with this process is have a why behind it, because if you don't have a why, you're not going to stick with it and you're not going to, be able to keep up with it consistently. So let's look at a couple of these and we can kind of use them as an example. So I can just show you. In this example, dining out and food delivery was averaged $346 a month. Now, this is just example data, but I am finding that a lot of people that I talk to, this is the one category that always shocks people how much they're spending in. So just an FYI. But let's say that this person goes through this and like, you know what? Dining out and food delivery, not on my, top life goals or financial goals. So I can definitely reduce this down. This is irresponsible. I'm just being lazy, whatever the thing is, right? And so the new goal would be, okay, I want to just do $50 a month budget. So that could really like help me save some money every month. And my why behind it is that I need to do more cooking at home or maybe meal prep, like having more food at home will help me from having to do this. Now, on the flip side, you could go to groceries and be like, okay, $757 a month. And my new budget amount, I just need to kind of increase it, a little bit. We'll just try increasing it a little bit. So we'll just say $800. And that's because we want to have more food in the fridge for the meal prep so that we don't use, dining out or food delivery as an excuse as to why we, how we need to eat our meals, right? So that's one way of like, hey, I need to look at these categories and we're reducing dining out, but we're actually increasing groceries to sort of hopefully merge that one process, just as an example. Another example I like to give is health and fitness. Let's just say this is actually like a couple, for example, right? 2 people in a house. They spend on average $31 a month on their health and fitness. And that's just one person maybe going to a gym. But on their goals is like, yeah, we need to get a little healthier. We want to be a little more fit this year, right? So the other person is like, hey, I'm going to join the gym too. We're going to be accountable partners. So we're going to like triple our health and fitness expenses, like one more gym membership plus maybe, I don't know, more classes, whatever. So that's what we would put here. we're going to 2x the memberships plus more classes because health and fitness is very important to this person, right? After we're done with all that, you can see that in the monthly savings column, it's very exciting. You get to see how much more money you're spending than your average. So if it's red, that means you're over your average. And if it's green, that means you're under your average. So the whole point of this column is to find extra money in your finances. So after this process of going through our spending and aligning it with our goals, we've saved potentially, this is not real money, right? This is like budgeting money that we're talking about saving, but $262 a month, which is awesome. And what happens next is these new budget amounts flow right into our new budget. Because variable expenses are much harder to track and really understand how much you're spending, that's why we go through this process. We get the new budget amount and it flows right into our budget. So I'm going to make this slightly smaller. And you can see here variable expenses. This is all linked to the other page. So we have $1,385 in our variable expenses, and that's how much was exactly in this column and the same expense categories. So I've been mentioning fixed expenses. That would be on this page too. We have a section for fixed expenses, and in this budget template, you can actually list whatever you want here in any of these columns. I just have some of these as examples that I'm thinking a lot of people would be using. We have a mortgage, rent, cell phone, internet, cable streaming, childcare, and car insurance just as examples. And this person also has debt, okay? But the problem that this example is having, we'll call it this family is having, is these budgeted debt amounts are just minimum payments. So they have 2 credit cards, they have a car loan and a student loan. So their minimum payments are about $700, and they're trying to get ahead paying down their debt, but it's been a challenge for them to try to ramp that up. So they've been doing a good job with the debt. They just don't know how to pay it off more efficiently. And the good part with this is that the first month that if you're doing this, or maybe you're a couple months in, this is just 1 month. So if you fail or you suck at it or it's not, clicking right away, it's 1 month. And then what happens is, once the first month is over, so I'm in January, I could just make a new budget for February, right? Using the same data, maybe tweak a couple things and move on. So now let's talk about the top portion of the budget. Okay, so our total budget is based on the amount of income that we make in the month. So we obviously shouldn't be spending more than what we're bringing in, right? So this is the guideline of what we need to use to make that happen. So let's just say, for example, I have random numbers here. It totals about $8,000 a month, okay? And these two people have expected incomes of that. This is our budget amount now, and we need to make sure that we're budgeting for that exact amount, because the whole point of this budget and the zero-based budgeting process is that every dollar that comes in, every cent that comes in, we need to know where it's going. The goal of the budget, and it's sort of set up in a way where we want to have $0 left to budget, and we want to have $0 left over to spend. So again, if our budget is $8,017, we want to spend exactly this amount. So this is how much is left to budget. This is how much is left to spend. Let's just say, for example, we go through the month. Our fixed expenses are what they are, right? So let's just say we go through the month and our variable expenses are also just exactly the same. This will not happen, by the way, but just to make the math easier. And you're going through and your debt, you made your minimum payments here. You'll notice that we have $262.30 left to budget and $262 left to spend. The whole point of the 3-month look back is so that we can use this money that we, went through this grueling process of going back 3 months, and we're applying it to the financial goal that's most important to us. So in this case, in this example, we're trying to pay down our debt more efficiently and a little faster. So this $262, let's just say we're going to add that to one of these. Okay, ta-da. Now this turns green, which is awesome. And this remaining to budget section, as soon as you have $0 left, it will turn green. If you go over the budget, it's red. And if you're under the budget, it's also red. So the only way that this turns green is if you exactly budget for your total budget amount. Now the leftover money is going to be the same thing. So we need to spend exactly this amount. So if we put that much towards our budget for this car loan, for example, there we go. So now this turned to green, and we applied the $262 to our car loan to be able to hopefully pay it off faster. This is how you win in small increment steps, month over month. So just know that your first attempt with this is most likely going to suck. It's going to be frustrating. You're going to want to quit, but don't. The good news is each month is sort of a reset and a new opportunity to try and improve the skill and try and improve the process. But I obviously can't leave this video without giving you the strategies of how not to fail in those first couple months. So to save you time, I've actually made another video here about the 10 budgeting mistakes that you're probably going to make and how to fix them. I'll see you on the other side.